I don't know what it was, because realistically, in hindsight, if I wasn't with Shay, there's nothing here in Adelaide for me. All my
Yeah,
family's back
there's
in
what the tone,
yeah,
the general tone, maybe the niceness. Maybe
yeah,
it's like out here. I mean, people are like most of the people in where I live in Kelowna. Most of the people here aren't from here too. Like it's almost as if like everyone just kind of lands here and just oh, I've been here 20 years. I've been here 30 years. I've been here 40.
you will
Oh,
find you will find that here in Adelaide.
yeah.
That is a
That's the
lot
vibe
of
I'm getting
people.
from you right now. That's exactly the vibe I'm getting from you.
And you know why? The reason a lot of interstate people come to Adelaide, because the fucking rent is cheaper.
Yeah.
The rent is cheaper, and it's affordable. But you also got a lot of, well, before COVID, you had a lot of immigrants coming to South Australia for
Mm.
that reason too, because
Yeah.
it's cheap.
Yeah.
They bring that money here, and it's so fucking cheap to rent a place, and they get a job. They send the money back to overseas to their family,
Yeah.
and they fly their family over here.
It's funny
And it's
because
like,
in Montreal, there's it's I don't know, with COVID and everything, it's probably kind of subsided because I haven't really noticed it as much in the last couple of years. But a big thing was because there's a lot of fruit all throughout the Okanagan Valley. Like there's apples, there's cherries, there's pears, there's like all sorts of like all different fruits all through here because it's kind of a semi-arid, like a desert. So like we can actually grow tropical stuff here too, believe it or not, where I am anyway. But all the way through the valley, all the way down to Soyuz, which is that 3-hour journey before you hit the border to the United States.
yeah,
And so these Montreal fruit pickers would come out from Montreal. They travel all the way across the country, some 4,000 kilometers to get here. And they live in a tent. They'd be like, like they're hippies. They're basically dirty, stinky hippies. and they're picking fruit. They're living on the farms. And as the fruit starts to dry up and wane, they start moving south and they follow all the harvests. And then they end up
yeah.
at the American border, and then they have to hitchhike all the way back to Montreal when it's over. And they usually don't save any money anyway. But a lot of them end up just staying here. You know what I mean? Or staying in the West.
Exactly,
Yeah, because they might
exactly.
have met somebody along the way, or or had a
Yeah,
kid, or got a dog, or whatever the case may be. And I can see how important that is to somebody. Like is that companionship? Because
yeah. Well,
like me, I love not having anybody around, but I didn't know what I didn't know what it was like to not like when I didn't have Maya. I had no idea what it was like to actually have a dog like her. It's like I was a kid when I had dogs. You know what I mean? I always I was
yeah, yeah,
always
yeah, yeah.
move and go. And if I had pets at the time, I would have been a cat or a couple cats or something because they're low maintenance.
Yeah.
But
But say because
I
one of
could see how like something like that could keep a person from
yeah, grounded,
expanding.
grounded, yeah, grounded. But see, for me, I still stay, and I've been honest with you, I still say Adelaide is a shithole of a fucking town in Australia.
Mm.
Where like Adelaide is like 40 to 60 years behind the rest of Australia.
Even the name
Right?
sounds
It
like
is.
shit. I'm sorry, but I'm Adelaide. It's
Yeah,
just like
it sounds like lemonade and marmalade. Yeah,
Malays. Yeah, I don't know. Like,
yeah.
I don't know. I think we
But
had a bus. I think I had a bad experience on the Adelaide bus in Hamilton. I don't know.
but
That,
see,
that word.
but I'm not originally from Adelaide. I'm from Sydney, but I lived in Adelaide the longest. I've lived in Perth for 8 years. I lived in Brisbane for 4 years, and Melbourne for 2 months. But I've always said Adelaide's a shithole. It's like 40 to 60 years behind the rest of Australia, and there's no manufacturing here. We don't build cars here in Australia anymore. Coca-Cola shut their business down 2 years ago,
Mm,
and all that. So we don't have that here in Adelaide. But however, the only thing that keeps me here is the fucking rent that cheap. If I go to like Sydney or Melbourne,
yeah.
I'll, I won't get a house under 400 a fucking week. You know,
Yeah.
and that's the thing.
That's the thing that I'm going to
Um,
be. That's the thing I have to do now is I have to move before March, because the house I
yeah,
live in has been sold. So all of
mhm,
us nasty old fuckers, we gotta get out of here now in March, and I gotta find a dog friendly place that's cheap. I don't have my own transportation, so Yeah, I don't know.
Mm.
I could always live in the woods. I don't care. Hey, I'm pretty
Uh,
self-sustainable. I could do that. I could pull that off.
yeah.
I've
Well,
got the
see,
skills.
another good thing about Adelaide is I'm not too far from the beach, but at the same token, I like the country as well. So when I go on a holiday up to Port Lincoln, which is an 8 hour drive, still in the same state, it's an 8 hour drive from where I am. I've got the ocean and I've got the outback right on my doorstep. One
Right.
side, one side of the road is my ocean. I take my fishing rod, I catch my fish. On the other side of the road, it's the outback where you got the kangaroos, the emus, not necessarily the crocodiles, but you've got the spiders, you've got the snakes, you've got the dingoes. They're on that side. I like to have both of them together. And Port Lincoln, which is an 8 hour drive from me, that's my comfort zone. If
Right.
there's shit, if there's shit here in Adelaide, in the city, I say to Jay, fuck it. Let's go up to fucking Port Lincoln. Let's spend the weekend up there. I want to recharge my batteries. I take my fishing rods with me, take fishing, and yeah,
Right. Right.
that's what I.
Yeah. That's
Cause
cool, man. See, and like recently, recently I took up archery, and it was weird because like I got a crossbow like a couple years ago or a year and a half ago or whatever it was, and I got really interested just in the crossbow aspect of it. And
mm-hmm.
I don't know, it got me watching some videos of archers and stuff like that. And then I slowly I said, I gotta give it a shot. I just went and bought a bow, and then I didn't realize I actually had to be in shape to shoot an arrow. Fuck. And I bought a 50-pound bow. I said, I'll grow into it. But yeah, it was funny because yeah, I bought a 50-pound recurve, and I love it. Like it's one of those things where it's I don't know how you can explain it. It's kind of like a moment, like when
Well, that's your release. What I call it is your release. Like
well,
it releases your stresses, it releases your anxiety,
in a
and it.
weird way, though, it builds up this a massive amount of stress because you've got to be conscious of so many aspects of your body. Like you have to make sure you got your arm rotated in, like so that you're not getting your elbow smacked. You got to make sure that
Yeah.
you're up. You got to make sure your body's square. You got to set. You got to pull in. You know, when you draw, then you draw to an anchor, and then you do your expansion, and then you do your release. But so much has to be in line with each other that any one of those steps is wrong. You got to focus. You got to tune everything out. The only thing is you, and not even the bow and the arrow are there. It's just you and the target. That target is the extension, and to reach it, you're using the bow, you're using the arrow. You know what I mean? And that's the beauty of it, because that shutting everything else out is
Uh,
so amazing.
that's
And
the what.
yeah,
That's the what I'm looking for. Sorry for interrupting. That's the
no,
what I'm
no
looking for. It's
problem.
your outlet. It's your outlet. It's your
Yeah,
outlet.
it's an
Yeah.
outlet,
Yeah.
exactly, and it's good to focus. It's good for focusing. It's good for core body strength. Since I got a 50-pound bow, like 50 pounds, like it's not like a mechanical bow, like
Yeah.
the hell, my brain's not working. What the hell are they called? Compound bows. Sorry.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not like those where you have a cam, and like when you get over the cam, like there's like a bump, and then a 3-year-old can hold the thing while it's fully drawn. You know what I mean? Because you're over that cam point. But with a recurve, you've got to, when you hold it, you're braced. You got to have your bones are locked now. You have a fully locked cage of your upper body, and you're not using your arms. Here's the biggest misconception: is that archers use their arms. You don't. You're using the scapula. You're using the muscles in your back, because everything's connected.
Yeah.
You just move your scapula, the arm moves with it, and that's how you actually draw your. I didn't know any of this shit, and like I had to study it. It gave me something to do, and then it's like I wasn't doing it good, and then you kind of go through those. Like it's been about 8 months, I think, or 9 months since I started doing archery, and I'm only starting to target things now. I'm only learning how to target now. Like you just have to get a consistent shot. That's the first goal. Is just to make sure that
Yeah.
each shot is within like 6 inches of the other one, kind of thing. Depending on the range.
Well, you get on well with Shay's mum and dad. They're into archery as
Nice.
well, and not only that, he's into riding his bicycles. He likes the Tour de France and all that too.
Right. And that's
The
another
bike
thing.
ride.
That's another thing about the archery is that like it also got me into building bows. It got me into making my own strings. It got me turning into like more of a there's other aspects of it that you can kind of get into, like, you know, with your bow maintenance schedule. You know, you pretty much start learning about the bow. It's like, well, I wonder, you know, if I can make one, you know. So you start looking at
You
all.
ever think?
You think it's
You ever
simple.
think about?
Hmm?
You ever think about taking that a step further, like to become a hunter? Because eventually you'll be hunting your own food.
Oh,
Eventually.
absolutely, absolutely. It was one of those things where when I make purchases, if it's not something like beer, cigarettes, or a consumable item, you know what I mean? Like if it's a thing that I'm going to be walking away with, I usually try to tick as many boxes as possible. Like, you know, is it going to be useful? Is it something I'm still going to be using in 3 months? Is it something that can do multiple things? You know what I mean? Like that kind of idea.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I thought about archery, you know, and I was like, the crossbow specifically, I bought it because I was like, yeah, that'll get me lunch. it's like point and click,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Point and click, squirrel. There you go. Fetch Maya. But yeah, it's like it's definitely got that to go along with it. And like, you know, it's funny because like even hunters, if they don't get out and shoot their bow, if they don't get out and shoot their bows, they're not getting the practice. They won't be taking home the dinner. You know, they won't be getting the dinner buck or the dinner rabbit or squirrel or whatever they're hunting. You know, and that's the beauty of it is, like, you know, you always have to train up because, like, I mean, I can have a day on a Monday where I'm shooting bullseyes from, like, you know, like 30 yards, like one after another, and then the next day I'm dog shit. Like it's just like I'm way off to the left, like, or, you know, I've had arrows jump out of my friggin' hand at times because like they weren't nocked properly or something, and it's just something in my brain. I'm not paying attention to what I'm doing or whatever the case may be. But and that's that's what I was saying about the focusing, because like it's like, okay, wait, you got to dial it in, breathe. You know, like you got to kind of shake out your shoulders, and you got to shake out, you know, and just kind of concentrate. Now it's like, okay, think of the steps, think of the form, think of, you know, and then you start to you go through that mental exercise. Like I used to do drama, and like there's a psychological exercise where you separate yourself from physical reality, kind of like pretending you're in like a one of those tanks, you know, those sensory deprivation tanks kind of thing. You kind of imagine that, and you kind of go to a place like a Zen like place. So, yeah, whatever. It's all they call it. They what do they call that? God, I wouldn't be able to do it because my brain is broken, for crying out loud.
Yeah.
Meditating, gosh darn it! I'm getting them. It's just happening on a slow level. Holy crow! But anyway, yeah, like it's meditation in a way, I guess. But the true meditation is something with a cause and a deliberate effect, or sorry, deliberate cause and an ultimate effect. Because, you know, you're making that arrow go down range, and like only you, you know, like, and things that are affecting it aren't the ones shooting it. You got to stop that effect from affecting it. Like you're the one that's countering everything. You're the one that's, you know, that's pulling that string back. And I don't know. I look at that in a sense of self-discipline. Like, you know, you have to learn that kind of a discipline, like to drown everything else out. Because let's say you're playing in a competition, or let's say it was hunting, and you know, you haven't seen anything, like it's been winter or something. You haven't seen anything to shoot, and suddenly there's a rabbit. It's the first thing you've seen in 2 weeks. And I mean, you could very easily knock an arrow and then, you know, draw it back and fire and just miss because you forgot that you're 20 feet away, not 30 feet away, and you didn't take into account your ballistic trajectory of the arrow at that range because you just haven't practiced. You haven't, you know what I mean? Eventually, I guess I would assume that a lot of it will become physical body memory, but at the same time, though, to process the information for something as vital as food, it's easy to get, you know, jumpy and like, you know, you get trigger happy and or excited, and it all goes down the shitter because you lost one of the steps, let's say, you know, and you pluck the string instead of like releasing it. Like you let the string come out of your hand. You don't actually let go of the string. That's how it kind of works. When you do your expansion, you're kind of like you're just easing your fingers, and the string will pull out of it. Like the string is like fuck you, and it goes.
Well,
You know.
I've got some comedy here. This is from the Muppets and Elton John. So I'm just going to put this up for a second. Rocket Man. Did anyone actually know the?
I remember that guy.
Did anyone actually know the lyrics? Rocket Man.
Oh, I kind of did once upon a time, but I can't remember lots
Well,
of stuff.
hey, talk about we're doing a bit like a self-inventory of ourselves, talking about itself. But I know you want to get back into what you were talking about, what the product.
Slowly.
When I my first job in security, as a corporate protection was Elton John, 2007, and that was a good thing. Did 2 nights with him and that. So yeah, Elton John was the first security job I did. So. 2007. That's the night when Australia voted for the election in 2007, or working for Elton John.
Oh, wow. Yeah, freaking hell. But I was just going to say, too, by the way, it is, I am confirming it is official. The very first official EPGN broadcast will be on Saturday. I'm shooting for the afternoon. I got to see if I can round up as many as I can to come in. Just be handy, just to do stuff, to have a good send off. We're going to be doing a weekly show, and there's going to be other shows to follow as well. On top of that, we're going to have a rapid fire free for all. I'm going to be doing the daily noon Reno every day at noon. I'll be jumping on for probably anywhere from a half an hour to 45 minutes, just to talk some shit and say hi to everybody in the day. Let's see here. We've got a couple new show hosts showing up as well. I haven't heard back from them, but I hope that's not because they're not coming. I think a lot of people are just naturally busy. It's weird because I think there's a general malaise like in hearts and minds of most people, and I think like you really see it with the kids that are in like jobs like in like the hospitality industry, like. Like your pizza delivery people, your waiters and busboys and shit like that. I'm sure they're having a very good. I haven't even been to a restaurant since last year, so like I mean, I can just imagine like the apathy. But like every company in the books is using COVID as an excuse to have shitty service.
Yeah, that's true. Well,
I was at a Walmart.
Here in Adelaide.
I was at a Walmart. Listen to this, though. I was at a Walmart. I'm looking at a locked cabinet because I wanted something inside of it. And I'm standing there. I was waiting for one of the staff to come over. And staff came over. The guy's got long hair. He's like a hippie. He looked like a high school guy. And he's riding on the pump truck, like the pump lift. He's got one of those lift trucks. And he's riding it like a skateboard, and he just scoots right past me like, hey. And I'm like, could you give me a fucking hand here, buddy? Like, you fucking...
Well, see, that's the thing. I mean, I just want to do a little bit of a demographic to some people that here in Adelaide, it's kind of back to where it was pre-COVID. Yeah, okay, we got some restrictions that every fucking business you got to walk in. You got to wear a mask. You got a QR code. I don't fucking wear a mask and I don't QR. So, but anyway, technically, on a technicality standpoint, yes, you'd have the vaccine mandates and shit like that. But on a technicality standpoint, it's kind of gone back to pre-COVID, right? Yes, there's a cap on how many people can be at a restaurant, a pub, so forth. But predominantly, if you just pull that bullshit aside for a second, it's more to the point of where we were last coming into summer, where it was kind of pre-normal. But when fucking winter comes around, that's when the shit really hits the fan. And that's why I am looking very close attention to Canada, UK, America, because your winter is coming very, very shortly.
Winter's coming.
Yeah. Stay tuned.
Yeah.
Well, winter comes every fucking 12 months. What are you talking about?
Yeah, it comes every year, guys. Especially if you're Canadian. Come on. Yeah, I hear people, oh, winter's coming. How many times around the sun is this for
They try to use that slogan in the freaking Game of Thrones, winter. And I'm saying to the people in the house that like Game of Thrones, I said, do you watch this? They said, yeah, winter's coming. I said, winter comes every fucking year. You don't need a slogan to tell you that winter's coming. And matter of fact, when Game of Thrones comes on here in Australia, like we get it the same time as everywhere around the world, it's fucking summer here in Australia when we have Game of Thrones on. So winter's not coming for another 6 fucking months, is it?
Yeah, well, the whole thing was bullshit anyway, because it took 8 seasons to get to winter, and then friggin' what's her nuts there saved the day. And it's like, oh, great. Spoiler alert.
Yeah.
What a fucking pile of shit that was. That was hilarious. I laughed my ass off because I was like, ha, 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 people are going to be really mad now.
And then all the Game of Thrones that didn't watch Walking Dead have decided to go to Walking Dead. Well, Walking Dead coming up to the end of their fucking...
There's like a dark ages for the Walking Dead, and it's between it's like seasons between seasons 8 and 10. Like nobody watched them. Like I don't even know what the hell happened. You have to go backtrack now. Yeah. But it's funny because like I religiously watched The Walking Dead. It was a show I loved to hate because I always ragged on it. I loved watching it because there was always something that I hated about it. And, secretly I liked it. I liked the show, but I liked what it was. Like, I loved seasons 1 through 3 were just amazing. Like, they were just really well done, like, well written, well executed, mostly anyway. But in season 5, it was still pretty good. Like, and then just the whole Negan thing was good. But that was starting the decline. Also, that was when the show was starting to get woke, too, because it started getting woke right around the time that the war with Negan was taking place. And, it was weird because at that same time, Game of Thrones was getting woke. All the women were starting to take control of all the parts. Yeah. And we started seeing that was the rise of, BLM and Antifa and all these other George Soros, funded operations. But it was
I have to admit, I'm glad that I watched every fucking Son of Anarchy before the woke fucking came out. Son of Anarchy was a good show.
Yeah, it was pretty good. I like Sons of Anarchy. It was a little too much at times. It was a little bit heavy-handed, I have to say. Like, it was a little bit like, but I mean, it is drama. It is television. You got to give it that. I mean, we're not watching it to get regular life, right?
You're right. But I have to be honest with you. I'm so glad they finished their fucking series before this woke shit happened. Like, before the woke shit really fucking took off. Son of Anarchy fucking just cut it and that was it. I'm so fucking glad they did that.
Yeah, well. Well, the thing with Game of Thrones, the problem with Game of Thrones is that George R.R. Martin, he never finished the final book. And like by the time they got to season 5 and 6, like Dumb and Dumber were running out of ideas because they're stupid heads. They're not writers. They can adapt. They're good adapters. They can adapt someone else's, but tell them to write something. Holy crap! Are you serious? Like some of the things they did, like it was just like what? Like, and did you even watch your own fucking show? Like,
yeah. And I remember when was it season 7? You had to wait another fucking year for the final series because the book wasn't fucking finished. And
it still hasn't been done.
You were working on the book in season 5. What the fuck happened?
Listen, he took time out. He took time out to write the friggin' Winds of Winter, which is a prequel to the same thing, and he still hasn't finished. I think he's just not going to do it. I think it's just not happening. He went and said, I'm going to lock myself up on my secret little resort on my island, and I'm not going to leave until I write this damn book. Well, that time has come and passed, and there's still no book. Yeah. And I don't know.
The inside joke I had about Game of Thrones. I said, yeah, the reason why he hasn't wrote the book is because he fucked the script up, and everyone was saying, what?
Nah.
I said, yeah, he killed off too many fucking people. He already had it in his head who was going to take the throne. Oh, but you had to kill this fucking one off. You had to kill that one off. He ran out of fucking ideas. No wonder he took 4 or 5
I
years.
didn't
to
run out of
write the
ideas. He knows exactly what's going to happen. He just has to write the details. It's hard to write, man. It's taken me 22 years to write my book. Like I still
know.
haven't finished it.
I know.
Like,
I
it's
know,
hard,
but that
man.
was an inside joke.
See,
joke.
like the two guys, what is it? What are they? Friggin' Dan and fucking Dummy, whatever the Christ their names are. Those two idiots. Like they can adapt the story from George R.R. Martin very well. Like they're good at that. But to come up with their own original ideas, like they were turning to George, like, hey, like when are you gonna finish the book? He's like, I don't know, I'll finish it when I fucking finish it. You know, I'm sleeping with a hooker right now. Can you leave me alone? I'm busy. You know, like that's his thing. But I mean, like, sometimes you just can't write. Like sometimes just like you just don't feel the mojo. It's just not there. Now some will say you need the discipline. Some will say you just have to discipline yourself and just do it. Even if you write 30 pages garbage, you can always throw it away and start over. Yeah. But also I have ADHD, so I mean that's a big problem.
I can't talk. I've been trying to finish a fucking song for years that I've wrote. I just can't find the right tune. I changed the line out of it, and
it's a completely different song 3 years later. Yeah, I kind of get what you're saying. Like my story, Memoirs of a Time Traveling Idiot, started off as a concept, and by the time I got my characters figured out, like I kind of let the characters decide what happens in a way. Like I put them into a scenario, and it's like it has to realistically unfold. So that said, the entire book has turned into a trilogy. It's completely different from my original concept. Well, it's not completely different, but it's completely different from the outcome. Like the outcome is completely different. Like what I thought would be the meaning behind it. It was much simpler, but it's a very, very, very intricate story that really actually doesn't have very much time travel in it. It's actually it's kind of a I guess the closest thing, if anyone's seen the closest like conceptual wise is probably like Rick and Morty or something along those lines. But
Rick and Morty or Bill and Ted Bogus Journey or something.
No, not Bill and Ted. No. Like Rick and Morty is like the humor behind it's interdimensional parallel worlds, and that's what mine is. The time travel aspect only happens once or twice, and a lot of things screw up because of causality. And in the multiverse, and there's all kinds of great stuff in there. It's not silly and dumbed down like Bill and Ted's. It's silly and dumbed down like Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. It's that kind of style. In fact, it's actually a tribute to the late Douglas Adams. I dedicated the first book to him out of the trilogy.
Yeah, there was.
He's one of my favorite authors. He also had a hand in Doctor Who as well. He wrote a couple episodes while he was working on the book series for Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
So did he work with Moffat? Did he from Doctor Who?
He's met Moffat, but Moffat wasn't really. Like this is going back way further. Like this is going back to like 86. I don't even think Moffat was. Moffat was even.
That's right, because there wasn't really much of Doctor Who in the 80s. Because I know they stopped for a while and then they rebooted it.
Well, it was Tom. It was Tom. What's his nuts there with the scarf? It was the big puffy pubic hair head there. Tom.
Yeah, the one that Tom. Shay loves him.
Fucking Jesus, can't think of his name. He was actively the Doctor. I think it was in 86, but he was the last one for a while. No, there was 2 more, and then there was the last one because they did the trial of the Time Lords. They did the whole trial of and they brought like 6 of them back to all be like in the same. There was like a 2-3 part miniseries. It was the trial of the Time Lords. It was classic, but. There's one of them that they couldn't get back. One of them that they couldn't. I think it might have been Garibaldi.
Tom Baker, you're looking for?
Tom Baker. Yeah. See, I'm so baked I can't even think of Tom Baker. No, I've literally I've not slept. I've worked on this damn computer. So guys, ladies and gentlemen, I'm using a Linux system. I use Ubuntu Studio, the low latency kernel, and it's got some great tools and stuff. And it's a lot of cutting edge stuff that's in there, but it's not as point and click like your Apple might be or as your Windows PC might be. There's a lot of stuff. You can get your hands dirty. You can get in there. You know, you can put your hand in the guts basically and like, you know, feel around and hopefully don't, you know, squeeze a kidney or something. But it's pretty hardcore stuff. And I'm still learning some of it. Like you could probably do this every day for the rest of your life. You're still not going to learn all of it. But
yeah.
It's a lot of fun. And this is the kind of stuff that we're doing.
Yeah, I know a lot of people's been saying to me, I'm just going back to Saturday just briefly. It got nothing to do what Saturday was, but a lot of people are saying, you know, get yourself a proper camera and equipment to do more on the scene type of stuff. But that's what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Very shortly, I'll be instead of using this,
to those
people,
cell phone, to those
yeah.
people, and to you, Jamie, I have to say this: and the best camera you have, the best camera in the world is the one you have with you. So if you have any kind of picture taking device, that's what you got. That's what you use. Just use it to the best of its ability, and that's all. I mean, like if you can produce quality with what you have, then you're taking it as an art form seriously, you know, as a form of expression. The guys who go out and buy the $2,000 camera first are probably going to take shit pictures and then stop using it a few months later and, you know, and just, do something else. Because that's usually what happens. And I'm guilty of it too in other areas, you know?
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, say, Shay's already got a Canon camera, but the thing is, for some reason, it fried the battery. We've got to change the whole battery pack in it. But but Shay said we're going to look for a new Canon because she wants to upgrade the Canon that she's got.
Yeah, upgrade the one that she's got. Give the one that she's got to you with the new battery pack, and you'd be good to go. Because you got to learn how to use it too, right? And
I already do know how to use it because we were doing.
When I say learn how to use it, I'm talking about framing shots. I'm talking about allowing time, you know, allowing recording pauses between, like, before and after, all of the little subtle things that people don't think about that go into things like lighting, things like sound design, things like, you know, things like angles, things like, you know, there's all sorts of factors that are involved. That, you know, that you can learn. And I'm just trying to say that you didn't know how to use a camera. That's not what I meant.
No. I was actually the one that taught Shay photography because before I met Shay, I was taking photos and that at gigs, and I was working for a magazine and stuff like that. So when Shay came along, I taught everything I knew and how to get what they call quote unquote money shot. What the magazines want is what they call the money shot, right? Because
it's called a picture of my butt.
Yeah. So basically, you only got a split second. You got to be in the right place at the right time to get the right picture at a concert.
Yep.
And you only got 3. When you're at a concert and you're in the photo pit, you only got 3 songs to get as many photos you can. Then you fuck off, right? So, and basically, you got to have what they call eye candy. You got to have a fucking good eye, good focus, and you got to make sure that when you do angle the camera, you're in the right fucking focus, click, then go to the next one. I taught Shay that, and when it comes to photography on the camera as well, I know I've got all that, but I'm just trying what I'm stuck at the moment. Well, I've got to get the fucking phone, the camera, connect it together through the same streaming device, through the computer when I'm on the ground, not in the studio here. When I'm on the ground, I have it all set up and all ready. Then once I hit that fucking button, it goes onto the stream. So
yeah, the way that's going to work is you're going to have utility on your phone that connects to your camera, and it's usually going to, if it's Canon, it's going to be like an EOS utility. That's going to bond with the phone. It's going to bind with it's going to bind with the camera, and then it's going to basically take the screen output or the viewfinder output from the camera, and you can take that through another application like NDI or RTMP or something, and you can send it to your OBS that's running or your streamer that's running at your house. You could actually, even with StreamYards, I think StreamYards will accept an incoming RTMP stream. I think you can do that. I think it has NDI connected. So I was doing some reading. I don't know if it's a tiered service, like something that they offer for more money or whatever, but yeah, I'm pretty sure they can take that. But and that's how that would work. Speaking of which, by the way, going back to shameless plugs of mine, that's another thing that we're doing, is that we're also doing a lot of networking and decentralized networks. So we're taking a lot of these concepts of social apps that we're used to, things like Twitter, Facebook, YouTube and what have you, and doing them on decentralized servers, meaning that it's still a server that someone connects to and logs onto, but they're not going to a big central database of videos or of authority or anything else, because basically what it is a big federated and shared network amongst everybody who's running a PeerTube instance. And I just happen to name mine BeerTube because I'm very fond of beer, but I digress. But BeerTube, for instance, it's a lot like YouTube, has a lot of the similar services and what have you. And it's just another example of how we're setting up servers. I'm training myself to do it so I can train others. And these tools are open source. They don't cost a lot of money. If you have a job, you can basically afford to run a small server that, that can handle like 20, 30 people a day or something like that, and well, maybe not 20, 30 a day if they're on all the time, but whatever. I mean, it depends on what you get. Like, we're kind of gone a little bit hot and heavy. We got ourselves a server in Iceland, so it's a dedicated server. It's a older generation server model, so we got a bit of a good deal on it. So it is a bit slow, but hey, so are we. But yeah, man, it's a lot of fun to learn like how to set this stuff up, because once you realize that, hey, you know what, it's not that tricky. Usually if you're going with a brand new system, like you just run a script and it does it all automated. Like if you've already got stuff on there though, sometimes you might have to work around it to kind of get stuff to work together and play nicely in the same, computer space. But yeah, there's a lot of tricks and stuff that I've learned along the way in that. And I've been doing Linux and server administration for many years now. But yeah, it's another thing that we're doing. So if you guys need consultation services of any kind, please get them coming. I'll if I don't know it, I'll find the person that does, and that's how I operate. And that's the end of the shameless plugs for this segment. Back to you, Jamie.
Yeah, well, oh fucking hell! What was this one? I'm just writing an article here. What was this fucking? No, I don't want to. I don't want that. What was this?
How long have we been on now? Hour 53.
We've been.
Yeah, okay. We're gonna cut it off, I think, because the 2-hour mark. This was just an unofficial show. It was just kind of a test out my sound system. Like I said, I completely, absolutely, 100% flushed my entire system out and reinstalled Ubuntu Studio 2.0.10, and it's pretty awesome. But I have to rebuild all of my applications. I have to redo all that. At least all of my settings and everything are still there, and all my work files and all that stuff. So that's great. But no, I literally had to lose the entire operating system because it was just being a cow. I couldn't handle it. There was that one needle in a haystack that was making certain things fail, and I just could not pinpoint it for any reason to save my life. I could not figure it out, and I worked for 4 fucking days uninstalling my sound stuff and reinstalling the sound stuff, and then testing it, and then uninstalling it, and I did that for 4 days, and then finally he's like, you know what? I just found out that Ubuntu Studio's newest version just got released, like today, yesterday. I was like, you know what? I'm taking the leap. I don't care where it lands. I don't care if I'm splattered all over the friggin' parkway. I'm taking the leap, and well, it worked out all right. At least now we can. At least now I can stream again. Yeah, for 4 days I couldn't do anything. Last night's show, or the one was the night before last. That was a miracle show because it didn't go down the spiral of friggin' entropy it did later. Holy crap. Yeah, I know. One by one, things just started to fail. Like it started to unravel and fall apart, and I was like, "Oh crap!"
Yeah. No, I'm just trying to. I'm
But
talking to you, and I'm doing stuff
yeah, no
behind
worries. But
behind the
we're
scenes.
gonna let the audience go. I don't even think there is an audience right now, unless you're watching it after the fact and so you're not live.
Yeah,
But much love, guys.
the
Thanks for listening in. We're only doing it this way because I don't want to waste an opportunity on show that we have content scheduled to do, and that would be not just embarrassing, but it looks bad. This way, we're doing this. We're not even recording these. Like, you know, they might stay up on YouTube or on Twitch or what have you. But really, these things when they run out, I'm not trying to save these. I'll have some behind the scenes stuff I will save and collect, of course. But like these shows, once they're gone, they're gone. So like, you know, hold on to these moments because, you know, this is like the beginning of this company, of this network, of all of this. So you guys, much love. If you're interested in any kind of activity, like if you want to be a show host or if you want to write for a panel on our website on EPGN.ch, we have a forum area there where you can leave each other messages about various topics. You can create your own topics. You can do all sorts of stuff. I'd come in and check it out. You know, it's not much different than something like a Reddit or whatever. And there's a lot of stuff on there. I'm going to be paring away. I'm going to look at what's being used and what's not used. I'm just going to kind of stuff away and not be, you know, not have to worry about it. So if it looks a little cluttered, you don't know what to do there, it's because I haven't completely finished the site. There's only one of me. I haven't been able to clone myself yet. But on that note there, Jamie, any final thoughts?
I just want people to, you know, live your day as your fullest and just keep, if you want to achieve something, you will achieve it if you put a lot of effort and time into it. So do not underestimate your own talent. Go out there and be known. Just do it.
You heard it. You heard it, guys. This has been EPGN, testing our equipment and saying good night, y'all. And y'all come back now.